Dracula has written requesting a reading here, and he says basically that he is thinking about going on a trip to England, and he's got the very strong feeling that something's waiting for him there. He's got a plan in mind to get there, and he wants to know if he should make the trip. So we have sort of a general question just regarding this trip for Dracula, and should he make it. We're going to do just a basic three-card reading for him, and we're going to do it sort of in terms of a sentence. This ties back into my bachelor's degree in English. This is a subject-verb modifier reading, which is not all that different from a normal three-card spread. We're going to let the first card represent the subject of the sentence, of the reading, and the subject shows us the overarching theme. And then the verb is the main action of the reading. And then the modifier it sort of ties everything together. It clarifies the sentence for us. And if we need any more modifiers, we'll add them if we need to. But so let's get started. So the subject is the first position, and that we have is strength. The verb, the Knight of Wands reversed. My hands are dirty with ink. And then the modifier is the Five of Cups reversed. So let's just take a quick look at that. And we'll start right in with strength, which at first blush is sort of an interesting card to show up there. I find myself saying that a lot. But again, the subject position is showing us the overarching theme of the reading. And I'm drawn to a few things about this card here. First, it's a major arcana card, so that indicates that the subject of this reading is really large and important. And the second thing that I'm drawn to is the fact that this is a picture of a character taming a lion. I would take the bet that this is a really momentous decision that Dracula is making, and that it holds a lot of weight in his life. So as the subject of this reading, I think this also talks about the subject, the reason for the trip. And I believe that he thinks, or that deep down inside, there's this feeling that the something in England is going to bring out of him the strength maybe to tame sort of a wild instinct, an animal instinct. That something that he feels is waiting for him there is that. The belief that he can tame something and control a sort of animal need. It's a big thing. Not everyone's capable of doing something like that. People who have those kinds of animal urges often find that gets them in a lot of trouble. Because the card is upright, I think it suggests that maybe he does have the ability in him. If it were reversed, I'd say maybe he doesn't, but it's upright, and I think that says something. I think it's also important, too, to consider the fact that we've got two characters on this card, and I tend to leave other people out of readings for people as much as possible. So if the reading is for Dracula, I try to leave other folks out of it as much as I can, but there's something about this card with these two characters that makes me wonder if it's not just Dracula wondering whether somewhere in England he'll find the strength to tame himself, but rather there he wonders if he'll find the strength to let someone else do it to him. To sort of be treated as though the characters as the characters being to be treated as the character is treating this lion in the image, working right from the picture. I wonder if there is a second person out there involved in the equation. The second position is the verb, the action of the reading, and here we have the Knight of Wands reversed, and this is fascinating. I mean, the Knight of Wands is about as action as you can get. He's all forward motion. He's all passion. He's all fire. And he's showing up in an action position. He is the verb in this sentence. But he's showing up reversed. So I think that says a couple things. The first thing I think this says is having such an actionable card, even if it's reversed, such an action-packed card in the action position, I feel like that Dracula already knows he's going to make this trip anyway. It's a given. He's going. He's already made the decision. With that in mind, though, I think that the Knight of Wands reversed carries with him a warning, since it seems like he's made up his mind to take the trip. I think it suggests to approach it a little more carefully, more thoughtfully, consider the choice to move forward and try not to be all passion and forward motion. Try not to race there. Try not to achieve everything all at once. Be cautious. It can pay off, certainly, but the wands can be tricky in reversed. And I think reversed, they tell us to avoid too much wand-like behavior. I also have to ask, because we have a wand reversed, if the idea of pointy sticks might have any adverse effect on you. Just gonna throw that out there. The final card in the modifier position is the Five of Cups reversed. And here we have this black cloaked figure with these spilled cups with some red liquid pouring out of them. Seems like a pretty appropriate depiction in many ways. The modifier in this sentence tells us more about what... The modifier in a sentence tells us more about what the writer is trying to say, and in the reading it tells us more about the situation. It modifies the reading. And I'm reading this also sort of as a three-word sentence, so it's subject, verb, and modifier, but in a way it's also a sort of stream of forward motion. And the Five of Cups always speaks of emotional disappointment. A loss of love, maybe, a relationship that ends badly, a sense of loneliness. And here I'm really drawn to the fact that in the Tree of Life, in Kabbalistic tarot, 5 on the Tree of Life is associated with severity. And the reversal sometimes indicates a movement away from that kind of energy, but for some reason here, severity is really sticking out to me. And I wonder, in this case, if the reversal indicates a deepening of severity, of hopes dashed. I wonder if this card suggests that the sort of lofty and lovely goal that you started out with over the course of this trip is if your hopes are not going to be quite reached. I wonder if this will bring you out what you started wanting, the taming that you hope for. I'm drawn as well to the sort of spilled blood, the spilled red liquid as a sign of shedding blood. And though I don't often read this way, I wonder if that sort of indicates, because it's calling my attention so loudly, any danger on this trip. So overall, we've got this sort of downward arc from this sort of goal of finding the strength within oneself to resist animal instinct, to sort of risking really forward, passionate behavior that could disrupt things, and finally, sort of an emotional upheaval, a loss, and that doesn't bode well for the trip. Certainly not as things are. So, and because this is such a down note, I tend to do this a lot. We can throw one more card in to see what advice this can offer, the reading can offer. And so we'll throw one more in. And we've got another interesting card. We've got the Two of Wands reversed. The Two of Wands always speaks to me of sort of an internal meditative state. The card pictures someone doing a very difficult thing, which is holding these very heavy objects in a very difficult position, using one hand. And she achieves this because she is so concentrated on it. Her mind is so focused on this task. It, to me, signals the power of the mind over matter, to achieve the impossible. Reversed here, I wonder if the advice is this: that it may be good right now to draw one's attention outward, for Dracula to try to release himself from this very internal place that he has been. Because I would imagine, because he said he's been thinking about this trip, and it has such high expectations for him, if he's been living in his mind too much, and to sort of come out of that, to take the blindfold off, to release yourself from that sort of fantasy life to a degree, to release yourself from maybe the constraints that you're placing on yourself, and to say, I'm going to look at the world around me right now. What am I seeing right immediately in front of me in the world? Chances are there's something in that immediate area that will satisfy you somehow, or that will help you achieve the energy of that strength card that we started with. What do you see when you do that? Something local, something outside. So it may mean to stop dwelling in the mind so much and sort of open up to the immediate world around him. So just to quickly summarize what we have here for Dracula, we start with the subject of the reading. We have the Strength card, which indicates a sense of trying to find within oneself the strength to be tamed, to avoid an animal need, an animal instinct, and maybe even to try to the hope that there's someone out there who can bring that out. The Knight of Wands reversed in the verb position suggests that really the action is going to happen. It seems like Dracula has made up his mind to take the trip, and now it's a matter of making sure that we don't do this thoughtlessly, that we're not all forward motion, that we're not all passion, that we try as much as possible to rein in that fire in a way that starts here with the lion in the Strength card. The modifier here, which modifies the subject and the verb, suggests that even though the trip is going to happen, it may not bring the result that we want. There's definitely a sense of severity here and loss, and I think the reversal here, rather than suggesting a move away from that, suggests a deepening of that. It will be more severe. It's going to be very lonely and painful emotionally. The advice that we pulled at the last moment here suggests that it may be time to sort of remove ourselves from the internal world, to take the blinders off, to stop the sort of meditation that we've been putting ourselves through, and to look out at the world as clearly as we can, and to maybe look in that space for something that will help us get what we want. That there may be something in the immediate vicinity that will satisfy the need, or that will help us achieve that goal that we started with. So there we have our reading for Dracula, and hopefully he'll let us know how things turn out.